Buonissimo, buongiorno. Che un buen dia. Yeah, have a good day. I hope you're having an amazing start to a day, everybody. I don't think there's anyone in an extreme time zone that is like nighttime that's on this stream, but I'm so happy you're here. This is going to be an amazing, another spiritual adventure. And, to have spiritual adventures, we have to be fearless. It's just our lack of, this amazing, curiosity or this mystery of life and this thing called spirit and this thing called beloved and this thing called source that that keeps us. I mean, there's just some things that we just might just get scared about or it's just too much for us, right? But it's to explore. We're explorers. We're deep soul explorers to have a closer intimacy today with the divine beloved, right? I think that's the essence right there. So I just want to start with a song from Yogananda. It's from one of his Whispers from Eternity or Songs of the Soul. I forget which one, but it's about all pervading spirit. Our subject this morning, though, is the supreme state of meditation. But first, I want us to just kind of get this idea that, spirit is everything, everyone, everywhere, right? And right now, there couldn't be more spirit in you as spirit, than sometime later in the future when you're more advanced, so to speak. It's all here and now, right? The eternal now loving presence. And I'm so happy you're on the line here, Vin, this morning and the Ryan G, and I'm sure the Clarks are here. Yeah, oh my God, it's my special peeps, my soul friends forever. We're going home together. We're kindred souls. Oh, I'm so happy for us. So close your eyes maybe and just get lost in this omnipresence of the divine mercy, this merciful omnipresence. Oh my gosh. So, oh, all pervading spirit. Oh, all pervading spirit, the breeze of your inspiration has banished all clouds. The firmament of my mind is clear, and with purified eyes, I behold everywhere, only thee. I behold everywhere only thee. The sunshine of your joy penetrates to the innermost depths of my being, and with the hunger of ages, I feed upon thy light. I feed upon thy light. I feed upon thy light. And by thy grace and by my constant wakefulness, may this bliss, may this bliss be mine forever and ever. May this bliss be mine forever and ever. We bow to you, O Spirit, the one supreme, beloved of our forevers. Always have you been us, always have we been you. There has never been even an iota, a split second of separation ever since beginning of time, since the beginning of the manifested worlds. Never have we been separated. It's impossible from you. It's only a great delusion and illusion that makes us think so. So bless us with this supreme state of meditation, which we'll talk about today. It's very simple. It's ongoing bliss ecstasy. ongoing, constant ecstasy, endless ecstasy. We'll get the exact words from Yogananda when we begin the verses. But may this bliss be ours forever and forever. We thank you that this is so. Om, peace. Amen. So I mentioned last week that we were going to read that certain couple paragraphs that was on the previous the verse that we were working on, right, or the previous one, and it was so good that I said last week that we're going to read it at the beginning of every stream from here on out. Well, I think that what my creativity wants to do is to kind of go back and read. I found another little thing that it would be good to read before we actually start the verses this morning. Okay, and it's back on page 631 of your volume 2, just in case you're wondering. It's chapter 6 and it's verse 25, and we're at the top of, no, actually it's verse 20, yeah, 25. But this is a really important message to have if we're going to talk about the supreme state of meditation. Okay, this is one of Yogananda's classic metaphors. He said, if a glass vessel is filled with muddy water and is then placed on a table, after a little while, the mud particles settle down to the bottom of the glass. Similarly, if a person patiently waits, this is good. Then all our streams, right? I forgot these two words put together like this, and you may too, but it's worth repeating. So similarly, if a person patiently waits for his and her mental mud, our mental mud, to settle down and does not nervously stir up the water again, the mud will not rise again to the surface. The particles in a glass of water will be clearly seen to be settling down to the bottom of the glass if not disturbed. The movements of the mud do not indicate agitation, but a mere settling down process. If we just leave it alone, if we just sit and be still, right? And we get into that supreme state of meditation, which you'll understand here in a minute, what that supreme state is. But the ordinary person's mind, similarly, is muddy with the myriads. That's a lot, folks. Myriads. The ordinary man and woman's mind, similarly, is muddy with myriads of restless thought streams, just endless thought streams, running into the river of his and her consciousness. During ordinary activity, this is where humankind is really stuck, and they don't have a clue. They're clueless on this one. During ordinary activity, the invading thoughts are completely homogenized with our consciousness, completely homogenized with our everyday state of mind. Completely. All that constant stream of restless thoughts. This is why the average man and woman does not know how restless he and she is. You know, if I were to tell you what my offer statement is for all my new coaching programs and this and that, there's programs going to be many ways that we can get closer to God. Let me put it that way. It's this: I'm the monk of 25 years here to help you your true reclaim your true self, and also to show you how you can get out of this mind ego thinking and into your heart space in 90 days, or I'll work with you for free. Show you how to get out of your mind ego thinking and into your heart space in 90 days, or I'll work with you for free. Anyone interested? Vinny, my man. Anyway, I say that because I think the pandemic that we all have in this dream duality that we're in, because we don't know it's a dream duality, we think it's real. We have made the infinite, we have made the supreme wisdom of the ages, things of this world. How perverted is that, right? So we don't know. The average person does not know how restless she is, and that's danger time, man. That's why the world is the way it is, right there. He or she discovers it to her and his dismay when she starts to practice yoga. Anyone have a testimony on that one? Brookie, huh? For the first time in his or her life, he or she begins then to stand aside from these myriads of thought streams just racing through the consciousness, and we don't even know it on an everyday basis completely all the time, actually, till maybe you fall asleep, and then maybe even you're having bad dreams at night, or you wake up in the middle of the night thinking about something, and that mind ego thinking. So the first time in our life, though, when we do try to make an effort at this thing called meditation, we be, we begin then to stand aside as a conscious witness of the bewildering torrent of our thoughts. Just get some separation, man. Get some separation. You got a defender on you. You got an octopus on you, the octopus of restless thoughts. He and she may become erroneously convinced. This is why I got to get back into the high light again, a high life again, and be really out there, so I can help improve this if someone's willing to have that fearless spiritual adventuresomeness, right? And can admit, I think a lot of people won't even think this is important, right? So whatever the reasons are, we are still souls, and there is a light that cannot be extinguished within us. So I think we're all on a good track, whether it's the worst moment, worst day of our existence so far, right? We still are on track because we are one with spirit, and spirit is one with us. But we may be erroneously convinced that our mind is made more restless by yoga than by worldly activities. I told you, it's so easy for the dark side to get us perverted, right? Just like that, boom, just one of those constant streams, myriads of streams of consciousness. Just one of them. That's all it takes to get us completely out of the zone that we want to be in, the soul zone, the peace zone, the unceasing love zone, right? The compassion zone. Such a beginner yogi, watching aghast his and her unsettled and disobedient thoughts, is cautioned in this stanza. Caution not to abandon meditation in despair, thus denying herself all chance of mind control. So my avatar that I'm looking for is what I call the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde complex, where at one point we were all Mr. Hydes, we were all good people, and we had some contact at some point, whenever that was, maybe as a little kid, or as someone mentioned recently, that they were doing the Stations of the Cross as a little Catholic girl, and didn't like much of the Catholic program, but or wasn't that interested in it, but there was an experience there way back then. And I'm looking for that person that's had that but has lost that, and I'm there to help them reclaim it back, and then to say that the number one cause why it might be a little bit of a commitment and consistency needed for this, that mind ego thinking ain't going to stop just because you decide you want to do it. You'll be aghast you make the effort, and you'll think that yoga don't work, that you're just too far gone to make the effort, right? That kind of thing. So yeah, such a beginner, watching aghast her or his unsettled and disobedient thoughts, is cautioned in this stanza not to abandon meditation in despair. It's never too late, may be my tagline. It's never too late. It's never too late. And remember what he said, if we don't abandon the practice, then that's what we'll hear about in our verse for today. Don't just say it can't happen for you. There's part of our brain that is trying to sift out these worthless thoughts that we have. See how that there's this pronoia, this amazing support of the universe in every facet of our lives, even when we're on the darkest side of this of the dark, right? But there's a place in the brain that is kind of just editing out that junk, but we got to help it along too by not putting so much junk in there because it can get overloaded, right? It can get overloaded as well, but it's there to help us have an have a affirmative, amazing, like my mind is absolutely calm, like a still lake. And you start doing affirmations like that, and that is what that part of your brain is going to help you retain in that brain, that positivity. So never admit defeat. Never even go there, folks, right? Or whatever else that we do, and it's just kind of still unconscious, right? We got to be super aware of those thoughts. um, Not to abandon meditation in despair, thus denying herself and himself all chance of mind control. And we're living in a world of no mind control. No wonder it's crazy. No one has control of their mind. Very few, very few. This is why this yoga is, just getting started on the planet, just getting started. It's a higher age, practice, because God is higher age. And then beyond that, even more spectacular than a higher age, right? So we deny ourselves all chance of mind control. What is life without mind control? Right? Don't we all still think that we or have this issue that we can't control certain thoughts at certain times, right? And you wish you could. Well, we gotta renew that effort, folks, because if you notice how the worse the world gets and crazier and unthinkable in most things these days, right? You can't even ever let your mind think about it. It's nah, that can't be happening like that, right? But the more it gets weird and perverted in its own way, the greater is the possibility for us to gain control of our minds, because the light side is really pumping up right now, and it's given everybody an opportunity to reinvest in themselves, right? To renew the contract at that one moment of that connection with source, whenever it was in their life, or maybe it was for years and then it disappeared because of the pull of worldly distractions, right? But it's time really to do the basics, and that's why that is the theme of my main program that I'm offering to the world now, is this. Let help yourself get out of this stinking mind ego thinking and into your heart space, right? Where we can at least rest and have some relief from the grief in the heart space, right? And then we can actually have it give us that intuition that we so need to understand these deeper mysteries, right? And realities, and off we go. Rather, so instead of just denying ourselves a chance of mind control, rather, folks, we should patiently await the settling down of our restless thoughts. That's why if ever you're, waiting at a stop sign, or there's a traffic jam or something, and you honking the horn, that's the opposite of what we're saying here. Settle down there. Let that mud of your restlessness, your mental mud, settle down while you're waiting. Huh? Go into the heart space. Get out of your thinking. Get out of thinking this outer situation is real, right? The only thing that's real is your connection to that all-pervading spirit that we sung about in the beginning. So rather, we should patiently await the settling down of our restless thoughts. Their commotion is just a prelude. This is what I mean by saying that all this darkness and all this fear and all this gloom and doom that we're experiencing on this planet, and it's going to intensify until more and more people wake up. That's what it's doing. Even now, there's a lot of people waking up saying, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm done. I got to go. I got to. And then they remember. Then that little light bulb goes off, that little eternal light that is always inside of them. And they remember that classic moment, when they really had a deep connection. Maybe it was an experience of some kind with the divine, right? And they were so crystal clear. And then they remember it because things are just so incredibly insane, right? That's what happens here. So all of this restless thoughts, their commotion, is this Yogananda now, is just a prelude to their dissolution by yoga. Dang, isn't this good? See, we'll always have a kind of a new, just something that we have heard in the past, just like the past experience that we forget about maybe 4 lifetimes after we had it, right? That it's just a prelude. It's just a prelude. Our suffering is just a prelude to its dissolution by yoga. Our mental mud and restlessness is just a prelude to the dissolution by yoga. It's the time of the of yoga, the supreme state of meditation, man. Look, see my Buddha? And it says at the bottom, heavily meditated. See, heavily meditated, man. Heavily meditated. All right. So let me finish this. Um, Rather, we should patiently await the settling down of our restless thoughts. Their commotion is just a prelude to to their dissolution by yoga. The undiscouraged yogi, you can't be hanging out in this vibe in here in this Gita study without without getting encouraged. I think, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't keep coming back, kids, right? There's something encouraging about what we're doing here. You don't know the buildup of fantastic buildup of good karma that you're making just being here. I swear, I swear. No, really, you're all are gaining so much in the vibration of just letting God know you're ready, willing, and able, and how that unfolds is your particular dance with the divine, right? So it's all good. So the undiscouraged yogi and yogini will find her and his mind finally free from all distractions. Yay! Gradually identifying herself or himself with her witnessing intuitive discrimination that comes from that calm, tranquil heart, which was our subject last week, the altar of the heart tranquility, right? Adroitly bypassing, so we'll have the witnessing intuitive discrimination awareness, which adroitly bypasses the intruders of the restless thoughts. The yogi attains the unshakable divine tranquility. We're on the altar of that heart, that divine tranquility last week as our subject, right? Now we're the unshakable divine tranquility. How's that? No more mental mud, man. Just relax, let go, let God. You've heard that, right? I'm so happy for all of us. I'm so happy for our world. It's going to change, right? Let the dark side do what it's going to do, because it's only going to, as the Yogananda said, suffering is the greatest prod to the remembrance of God. So let's just enjoy this probably the greatest opportunity we've had in all of our lifetimes to propel ourselves spiritually through the grace of God, because humility is at the one of our pillars. It's one of the pillars in my programs now is humility, right? Because without that, we're just going to spin our wheels. So all this talk about relinquishing your your desirous thing for outcomes and this and that, and still having a need for it or an urging for it or an obsession for it, and just let go, let God. It's just love offerings. We're just receiving and giving love. That's all we're doing. We have no expectations. We have no thing about something's going to be better later, right? Because we're just now in the be here now, right? All right, so now we jump over to our starting point, which is page 850, chapter 12. And this is verse 12. And we'll pick up. First of all, I'd like to say that we pick up on it's where we didn't read last week, just above it. So right at the ending of last week, we ended with That devotee whose the mind is a battleground of distractions and warring states of consciousness, with intermittent lulls of transcendent peace and inner experiences, so that we're kind of upgraded. We got some of that mental mud disappearing, but not completely, right? And we have some intermittent, some of the glimpses of yeah, some intuitions. We feel great with an intuition, a spiritual remembrance of who we are and whose we are, with some intermittent lulls of transcendent peace and inner experiences of astral and cosmic forces, such a divine light or the sound of Om. And then this is the line I want to just kind of just bring to your attention. In the perception of pure wisdom, there is an absence of all inner tumult. In the perception of pure wisdom. What is pure wisdom? I'll give you example what I understand pure wisdom to be, because you all will have a different understanding, but maybe it will, yeah, we all kind of will understand what I'm going to say then, that even though we have different understandings of this, of what you think is the in the perception of pure wisdom. For example, my step, the step of the interiorization, the peace at the cervical center, are embracing that master mushin, that no mind, and there's four things that we have talked about, but here's how I'm going to put it to you. Well, this is the way I do these four things now. And I relate them to the lineage of Paramahansa Yogananda, right? He was the last in the lineage. Then there was Sri Yukteswar, who was his guru. And then there was Larry Mahashaya, who was the guru to Sri Yukteswar. Then there was Babaji, who was the guru to all of them, right? There's four. So when I get to this in my meditation and my ah-e breath, right, then I am going to go and I love this quote. I love this quote from the Bible, and it states this: "The Lord is my shepherd; I shall not want." This part I love. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. So number one, with when I start focusing with love on Paramahansa Yogananda in this peace chakra, in this interiorization, this inner peace. This is where intuitive uh, wisdom comes from too. Intuition, yeah, intuitive imagination. This is the center, and deep, deep, deep underneath the waves of change. Right, you duck dive underneath in this step of ours. So I like to take Yogananda's hand, or he takes mine, or after we hug, when I go into my intuitive imagination and see him in the green pastures, right? This is what I mean, you know. And I first get there's just instant peace. I call it instant peace in the green pastures. All right. Spend some time in the inner pasture, in the field, beyond our, right and wrong. There's a field. Come join me there, says Rumi, right? In the field of the green pastures, right? Then he leadeth me, but then I make this one up for Sri Yukteswar. I go up, he takes me up, still in this inner peace that I start to get from Yogananda. And then he takes me up to the highest mountain peak and the most beautiful scenery in the inner world. And then I'm in the Master Mushin state. So there's no mind and just complete peace. And that's Sri Yukteswar blessing me with that. Isn't that fun? See, it's these visualizations. This is what I understand this perception of pure wisdom to be. It's just this pure, intuitive imagination from your soul and from your heart and from your trust and your faith that you can come up with on your own. It doesn't have to be the green pastures or the mountaintop or even those yogis there. You just create it, right? You create it, because now is the time to offset this tremendous darkness that is going to come like a shadow, as Yogananda said. The shadow is just the hand of Divine Mother reaching down to pick you up. Another way to put it, right? So, um, so then Larry Mahashai, he leadeth me beside the still waters. So Larry Mahashai leads me beside the still waters, and I get to spend some intuitive imagination time in my meditations, in my walking meditations, because it's all the same to me. Whether I'm meditating, I'm doing whatever. It's all just what step am I on, you know? What quantum field place am I on? In this case, it's the still waters with Larry Mahashai, and I just take as much as I can of being absolutely 100% still, as much as I can take, right? And he restoreth my soul. Woo! And that restoreth my soul is Babaji. The last of the four states of peace, right? Is Babaji. He restored my soul. Isn't that beautiful? And I visualize um, Babaji in the eternal peace, not even in the inner worlds, the eternal, the absolute, man, right? It's like Babaji and me are like the earth that is just absolutely still right in the center of space, right? The earth as it's just a peaceful ball, green and blue ball, right? Just floating in space. That's me and Babaji. All right. So that's what I mean, kids, by this idea. In the perception of pure wisdom, there is the absence of all inner tumult, a stilling of all oscillating waves of the mind. Perception is solely through the all knowing intuition of the soul. All right. That's where we ended up last week. Are you follow? Are you following? Yeah, we need to view this delusional world as a silent witness. Absolutely. And because why? Because we love the peace. We love the peace. There's a beautiful thing on peace coming up as a footnote. All right. That's exactly perfectly put there, Clarks. Beautiful. So here's our start of our today's new reading of this verse or chapter 12, verse, what did I say? Hey, it's verse 12, chapter 12. Okay. The true state of meditation. The true state of meditation. No mud, no mental mud. The true state. Everything's quiet, you know, by those still waters. Yeah. Quiet in the green pastures with, you know, with the blessings of Yogananda, then the blessings of Sri Yukteswar on the mountaintop, then the blessings of Larry Mahashai by the still waters, and then the restoring of your soul in the eternal calmness, the eternal stillness, everlasting. The true state of meditation is, here's the word, oneness. Oneness, oneness, ocean heart. Oneness, oneness, everlasting is oneness. The true state of meditation is oneness of the meditator with the object of the meditation, which is God, Spirit. The object of meditation, God. It is superior to the preliminary meditative state of theoretical wisdom, which doesn't amount to much, right? That's just where you're restless. You're not even focused really, and it's just still kind of in your head. All this stuff still. We haven't gotten the head, you know, cloistered in the heart yet. So it is superior to that preliminary meditative state of theoretical wisdom, knowledge attained through divine perceptions using your intuitive imagination. But knowledge attained through divine perceptions in meditation by the devotee who is an observer, apart from her and his experience, the knower who is knowing the thing to be known, right? We're the knower who wants to experience the, the known to God. Thus, this state is tinged, though, with the relative consciousness that the triune knower, knowing and knowing, there's the knower, the triune, there's the knower, knowing, and knowing, right? Exists separately. We think that's all separate. You know, like even right now, we think that we're separate from God. You know, we you know, even the saying the words "I'm a seeker of God" is saying that God's somewhere else. I'm seeking. I'm trying to. It's a game of hide and seek. I'm trying to find Him out there, right? And And so it creates this idea of separation, which still is major illusion and delusion, this idea of separation. Um, but really, really, God, as Teresa of Genoa said, Saint Catherine of Genoa said, "My me is God, nor do I recognize the other me but God. My me is God, nor do I recognize any other me but God." Right? Yeah. Oneness with God. There's only Him. There's only Spirit. There's only that. Tat Tvamasi, thou art that. Wow. When the true yogi and yogini is aware that he or she is the knower, separate from her perception of divine wisdom, she is experiencing the relativity of consciousness involved in the triple factors of knowledge: the knower, the knowing, and the knowing. Those, I guess, are the triple factors, right? In the supreme state of meditation, our title, in the supreme state of meditation, the devotee is no longer conscious of the triple factors, but only of oneness with spirit. I come up with an acronym for the word monk, right? Because the way I'm going to be branded now is more of the monk kind of thing, and uh, and so monk M is mastermind, mastermind. Yeah, because we have to control that mind, mastermind. You know, if you spell it, and you can spell it mind, but if you go mastermind, you're telling to the teacher, the guru, the soul, you are mine, in mine, mastermind. Master your mind, right? Or master your mind, control your mind. As Yogananda said, I've come here to tell you of a land more beautiful than anything here can ever be. And then he said, discipline your body and your mind, control your senses, find God. Discipline your body and mind, control your senses, find God. That's what he said once, right? So, in the supreme state of meditation, the devotee is no longer, so we're in that oneness. We're completely my me is God, God is me. The devotee is no longer conscious of the triple factors, but only of oneness with spirit. So the monk, mastermind, then the O is what? I put two O's. Only one. Mono, monk, that's what monk means. Mono, one. All right. And then I have N for nirvana bliss. Nirvana bliss. And that's coming up here too. Nirvana bliss, but just, yeah, nirvana. And then finally K for kindness. Isn't that a good acronym for monk? And I call that the monk alchemical process. The monk, meaning that we're always, you know what alchemy means? It means turning everything into love. It's an ancient art. It's the most ancient art of all. Is that alchemy of turning everything into love? Isn't that beautiful? Wouldn't you say that this monk is kind of like that way, that's always talking about that thing called love, LUV, huh? All right. Okay. So, in the supreme state of meditation, the devotee is no longer conscious of the triple factors, which isn't bad, right? Because we still have intermittent moments where they're just sky high, right? But we're going for the full, you'll see, and I'll give you the words here coming up. The full, and remind me to finish that. I'll tell you, it's coming up. In the supreme state of meditation, we no longer conscious of the triple factors, but only oneness with spirit. Greater than the initial experience of the state of meditational oneness with God. See, greater than the initial experience of our state of meditated oneness. We're honing, we're refining, that meditative oneness. So now we're just down to the goal. Now we're down to begin with the end in mind, oneness with spirit. So, but greater than the initial experience of that state of meditative oneness with God is constant establishment in that state, right? We're looking at being self-sustainable, capital S. We're looking at having these momentary things. If they come, we can still have them with fearless faith and total trust. Yeah, we can always have them if we use, instead of that stuff that clogs up that part of the brain, and it takes it that part of the brain longer to get rid of the rubbish that we just put in, right? We're always making what is called, empowering true statements, right? Or lofty, intuitive truth statements to ourselves, like never minimizing yourself, saying that you are, your meditation practice is the most beautiful, calm experience of my life. See, that brain takes that and turns it into a reality in your brain. Just like if we put stuff in the brain, it keep giving us that negative self-talk, right? That I can't sit still, things like that. Wow, there's so much good in this stream this morning, wouldn't you say? Already? Wow. So, so this constant establishment in that oneness, intuitive oneness, visualization, however you're meditating, right? Which leads to freedom from all bondage to karmic fruits of action. So that frees you from your attachments. This is why the Buddha never was a good vacuumer, because he didn't have any attachments. My Buddha, he didn't have any attachments. He couldn't clean the house, but he cleaned his spirit. Yeah, he did. All right. Freedom from all bondage to karmic fruits and actions. That's what the established state in your meditation. Or let's just put it this way: little longer, a little deeper. You don't go for length, you go for quality. This is why that 1 minute meditation is so brilliant. Just giving it your all is probably more better than a 2 hour meditation with your mind out of control, with too much mud, because you're stirring it up. Every time you have a restless thought, you're stirring up the mud. Then it's going to take a while for it to settle again, right? The initial experience of divine oneness is temporary, allowing the consciousness to return again to the mud, or the karmically controlled body identified state, with its lapses into ineffectual, absent minded efforts in meditation. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? But here's the 2 words: we will be full of continuous ecstasy when we are established in that state. There's the 2 words: continuous ecstasy. Quote, exactly Yogananda's words. Or nirvikalpa samadhi. In salpikapa samadhi, we still can't really, in our moving, active, and serving in the world, maintain that constant, establishment in that continuous ecstasy, so to speak. It's all relative, right? So in Salpikalpa Samadhi Yoga, I will drown myself in myself. It's a little chant from Yogananda in his Cosmic Chants book. In Nirvikalpa Samadhi, I will find myself in myself. So one is the good state to be in, where it's when you're still and quiet in meditation, the salpikalpa, but you can't maintain it, sustain it, be established in it, as we're still progressing, evolving, right? And then so we go to nirvikalpa, where you have it all the time, autopilot, that you so awakened and trained and all this for so long, that finally God says, you passed. You passed the course. You are now ready to be absolutely taken over by the soul, and that's all you're going to know. Who, everything through that alchemy, through that, that monk alchemy process, you're going to change everything into love, right? Okay. So continuous ecstasy, nirvikalpa samadhi, bestows. This is what it bestows: that continuity of the joy, the bliss, the ecstasy. You use the words if you want to, whatever you want to use, okay? It bestows this, though: detachment from the circumscriptive laws of the realm of material vibrations and leads to freedom from all past and present karma and the relinquishment of the fruits of actions. So there we go again, letting go of all our expectations, all our worldly desires, anything that doesn't have its focus rooted in this one moment, right? Just this monk, this mastermind. Only one, Lord, just the one. You're only one for me. What is our song? So dial 111, ask for the one, and tell the one, you're my only one. Right? That remember that song? Right? So we don't even have any desires for this outer world. We're just completely absorbed within. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful where this troubling world, this totally out of balance, wacko world is going to lead us to this? So is it wrong to have adversity? No, we only grow through adversity. We can only make the changes through getting is in the ashram we learn that when we don't follow our conscience, it's a little whisper at first, our conscience. Hey, no, stay away from that. Then if we don't hear it, then we get Divine Mother whispers something out, doesn't whisper it, she kind of shouts it, right? The next warning, she shouts it. And then if we don't hear the shout, she hits us over the head with the 2x4, which is probably the greatest blessing you can have. You know what's another great blessing? A heartbreak. You know what's another great blessing? A breakdown. You know what's another great blessing is any adversity that comes your way, little, medium, or really, really, really powerful that it just drop. You have to drop to your knees, as Abe Lincoln said. The pressures of this administration has put me to one place at the feet. I bow to my friend who's inside of me. Takes me to my knees. Yeah. So you understand what we're getting at today? After meditative unity with spirit is permanently established. See, you could say, I am permanently established in the continuous ecstasy of my soul. I am permanent. And that's going to go to your brain and put that message of truth to help awaken this thousand petal lotus. Drink, 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 nectar, drink. You know, the God consciousness, oneness center, right there. So go for it. It's called lofty thoughts. It's called lofty thoughts. Have lofty thoughts. It will change everything, my dears. No more human thoughts. Stop thinking like a human and start living and loving as a divine being, as an immortal. So after meditative unity with spirit is permanently established, the devotee attains the superior state of oneness with God, plus complete escape from the bindings of the material vibrations. Complete escape. Everyone's trying to escape, right? The people who are trying to escape from the lights too bright and just go off and numb yourself. And then the people who have had enough of numbing themselves and then 2x4 hit them over the head and they're down on their knees and they're saying, oh Lord, where have I been? Help me. I'm in desperate need of you. Ah, that's a good sign. I'm in desperate need of you. Help me, right? And so we become, when we're in that superior state of oneness with God, we completely escaped all the bindings of that monkey mind. That means that your mind is definitely surrendered into your heart. Your mind is as calm because you have those four masters, if you choose to go that way, who are helping you in the green pastures, on the mountain top, right, in the still waters, and then as that eternal peace, which is like the earth, just this peaceful earth floating in space, right? And you're just floating in the reality of this eternal peace. It's a great meditation when you think at peace is not just a a rare thing. Every now and then you have a little peace. It's an eternal principle. And oh yeah, I have that quote at the bottom. We'll end with that. Woo, we're rolling. Are you all following? Yeah, our subconscious doesn't know when we're joking. Right? Yeah, yeah. Or maybe it does, maybe it does. Maybe it knows it all so well, right? Because your subconscious is another, it's got a lot of consciousness to it, the subconscious. It really does. It understands, all this stuff that we don't understand. That's why we're programming it. And because it's so resilient and it's so incredible and is so needed to be programmed, that if we program our subconscious, that's what we're doing first. You can't even program your conscious mind until you have your subconscious, programmed. And whatever you tell it, it hears you, right? Now we just got to follow it. We got to, what? Fearless faith and total trust. It's Those things are so important. That's it. Draw a line in the sands, right? And the line is the fearless faith and total trust. And don't ever let yourself down from your fearless faith and total trust. Don't cross that line. It's called making boundaries for yourself, spiritual boundaries. That's what that means. All right. So we have complete escape from the bindings of material vibration. We enjoy the dual perception. So it's the nirvikalpa samadhi person, not this the salpikalpa, the one that can only do it in sitting still in the right conditions, but the nirvikalpa that you're free. You're free. You're a soul bird that is flying high and then comes back and does its little song. If it's the bird, it's a song that its duty and it's whatever its purpose is in this physical life, right? And you can do both. You can fly into the higher realms, or you can be in this one singing your song when everyone else is screaming because they're freaking out at what's happening on the outside. Yeah. So we'll have complete escape from the bindings of material vibration. We enjoy the dual perception of oneness with God and interactions with matter, with even the most disruptive human being you've ever met before. You know, what was that one, this other quote that I just posted? People can only meet you at the depth in which they have already met themselves. Or I can only meet you at the depth of where I've already met myself. So go deep so you can be that energy, that vibration, that frequency, that kind of sparks that particular that aspect in someone else, right? By being it yourself. This is what this is saying. People can only meet you and you can only meet them at that depth in which they and you have already met themselves. Meet your soul today, my friends. Meet your soul. Celebrate your soul. Practice those affirmations where you are in absolute celebration of who you are. You deserve it. You're all worthy. You're all deserving. You're a child of God. You oh so worthy and deserving. You're a child of God, right? Yeah, that's why. Okay. He enjoys the and she enjoys the dual perception of oneness with God and interaction with matter while her consciousness within, while the consciousness within, her and his consciousness within remains wholly, completely detached from material vibrations. You're a free bird. You're a free soul. Hey, don't freak out when you are so damn restless that you just get depressed, right? You just get depressed. No, the mud is you've just stirred up the mud again. That's all that is. Just settle down and we never forsake that practice. We will continue to practice being at peace even if we are in restlessness the rest of our days. How's that? We just don't believe in that restlessness. It's there. We don't make a big deal because then it will become, heavy duty on you. It will be activated. The dark side, you've given permission to rule you. But if you just kind of ignore it, then an unrecognized visitor will flee, right? So lastly, the devotee realizes once we're detached from material vibrations and you're floating there with Babaji in the eternal now loving presence, right? Just floating there with him. Imagine just you and Babaji. I just love those ideas. I love these intuitive imaginations. So we finally realize the peace of God which passeth all understanding. Then there's a little thing for the footnote, which I'll read you. The ultimate, that's the ultimate state of blessed tranquility. There's that word again. So that word's been popping up. So I hope you're really, really absorbing that. I hope you're allowing it to just absorb in. You don't have to try to remember anything. Just let it in. Be open hearted, just receive it and be grateful for it. And then just when you forget about it and you remember it later, really celebrate that you remembered it. Wow. Right? And one day that's just going to turn into realization, my friends, when you are so sincere like that, when you are absolutely, steady as she goes. The ultimate state. So finally, we have peace of God which passeth all understanding, the ultimate state of blessed tranquility in the vibrationless absolute. See, that's where you go greet Babaji, in the absolute, or the vibrationless absolute. That fifth attunement is now pretty powerful, right? They always are, but every iteration you make makes it more powerful. Every time we forget makes it less powerful. It's an important day, wouldn't you say? Yeah. Okay. So here's the footnote, and then I'll take questions. This is the footnote. It's from Philippians, I do believe, Philippians 4:7, just in case you want to look it up. The ornament of a servant of God. What do you think the ornament of this servant of God, this Das, like Lisa Das, Jim Das, Das means servant, right? Das, your servant of God. We're servant leaders, all right? Leading ourselves back to that, that oneness with the Babaji state of peace, the absolute or the vibrationless absolute state of peace that's passeth all understanding. The ornament of a servant of God is devotion. The jewel of devotion is consciousness of non duality. The jewel of devotion is knowing that there is no duality, that there's only the unity, there's only the oneness. Isn't that beautiful? The ornament of a servant of God is devotion, and that love will give you the intuition and the understanding that passeth all of your other understanding, right? Because the jewel of devotion is this total knowing, knowing that there is only one. So practice the monk alchemical process again and again and again. Turn everything into love. Come on, girls. Come on, girls. Go, go, go. My girls. All right. And then the quote goes on, but now, yeah, the quote goes on. And this is Tulsidas, an Indian mystic. Verse from the Hari Prasad Shrasti. And it says, the ornament of knowledge is meditation. Well, meditation, because what is meditation? It's that perception of pure wisdom, where you have your intuitive imagination going wild to make sure that you are incredibly more attuned to your true self, your true nature as soul, than you are about anything that's going on in your mind stuff or in this world stuff, right? That you're more interested in that. The ornament of knowledge is meditation. The decoration of meditation is renunciation, letting go of the fruits, letting go of your desires. Yeah, we only have one desire. What does Yogananda said? Have only one idea. God and leave all the rest alone. Only one, because there's only one idea to have. There's only one practice to have, and that is the alchemy, turning everything into love, right? The monk alchemical process. You're one. You're one focus. I am, this is Krishna, easily reached by the yogi who is single hearted, by the yogi who is single hearted, and who remembers, who remembers me daily and continuously, who remembers, who remembers, who remembers me daily and continuously, whose mind, whose mind, whose mind's intensely focused on me, whose mind's intensely focused on me. Then I add, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama. There it is. Meditation is renunciation, and the pearl of renunciation is pure, unfathomable shanti, or peace. The ornament of knowledge is meditation. The decoration of meditation is renunciation. This is on page 851. You might want to read this on your own many, many times. The pearl is the decoration of meditation is renunciation, and the pearl of renunciation is unfathomable, pure, unfathomable peace, or shanti. The pure and unfathomable shanti, you know what that does? Cuts the root of all misery, cuts it. You know, yoga really is this severance, this happy severance from the world. This happy severance from the world. You'll see when you go across the other side, you go, oh my God, this is home for sure, right? Because you're going to go across consciously. There's not even going to be one iota of fear. Yeah, that's what the Guru promises. And all we got to do is stay true, true blue, to what makes you feel really, really good. And baby, stay true, true blue, to what makes you feel really, really good. You got to feel so good. So, baby, stay high. Don't ever let yourself down. Baby, stay high. Keep your feet on the ground. Just saying, he who holds Shanti in her heart, his heart, peace in your heart, peace, dwells in a sea of bliss. Dwells in a sea of bliss. No, welcome to yourself. Did you get to greet yourself this morning? Huh? Like never before, right? And you know it's real, more real than anything here could ever be, right? The unreal compared to the real is a serious distinction there. All sins that breed suffering, anxiety, and anguish disappear. Would you all wouldn't mind, along with getting your mind in your heart space, right? You wouldn't mind that suffering, anxiety, and anguish disappear, would you? Would you say no, that I don't want that to disappear, I want it more? No, you would obviously say, yeah, please disappear. And if you can let suffering, anxiety, and anguish disappear, then all your limitations will disappear, together with all limitations. And finally, this is again that Tulsidas. He's a famous Indian mystic. Tulsidas, maybe I'm saying it wrong. Tulsidas, that's probably it. Tulsidas. All right. So finally he says, know him or her to be perfect, who is most peaceful. Ooh, what a quote. Could you say that to yourself? I know myself to be perfect because I am the most peaceful. I know myself to be perfect because I am the most peaceful. Write it down. Don't lose that one. That's our mantra for this week. I am perfect because I am the most peaceful. Who is taintless and free from all personal desires. See? Whose mind vibrates with shanti, shanti, or peace. Whose mind vibrates with peace. Wow, I went a little over. I hope you all don't mind. Staying in the hug is Brookie. Does anyone else have a little something here to put up on the chat so everyone knows that you are totally aligned with with as much of your understanding and your heart and your whole beingness that you are aligned as maybe even better than ever before because you showed up, my dears. And that is everything. Oh, yeah, Narayan, that's those are the two words right there. Continuous ecstasy. And Brookie's not bad. Staying in the hug. Does anyone else have a quick little saying to put up there? Did the Clarks? They always have something. Thank you. Oh, beautiful lesson today. Yeah, Benny, that's because you spot it, you got it, brother. I love you all. Look at that. Look at old Marty, huh? Look at her participate in this whole this uprising. I call it the uprising that's happening with all sincere souls. Yeah, this uprising. Look at how Marty uprised us, right? And Narayan uprised us. And Brookie uprised us, and the Clarks uprised us by being here this morning. And you uprise the world too. Everything uprised because we were here absorbing the truth and being in our heart centers and honoring each other and sending that love out to each other and to our world. Boy, this is pure joy. This is pure peace. Yeah, love forever, beautiful souls. Thank you, Clarks. All right. Much love and light, everybody. Have a most beautiful day, a beautiful time with the divine. Namaste.